What's going on, all you wild multiple personalities? Your two favorite dissociative personality disorders are back to talk about the first season of Disney Plus's Marvel Moon Knight. Starring Uncle Oscar Isaac, Uncle Logan's favorite actor. We always talk about him. Yes. And we know that's a lie. We know that you do not enjoy Mr. Isaac's work. So this was Oscar Isaac's, big introduction into the Marvel universe and the character of Moon Knight's introduction into the MCU. So moving forward, especially after Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, we're going to have lots of new characters to be introduced now that the old superheroes are kind of, all don't have contracts anymore, and they got to bring in the new superheroes and set up the new phase, and before they ultimately bring back the old people, because why? Because money. We know they're coming back. But anyways, Oscar Isaac stars here as Stephen Grant and Mark Specter. He plays the dual role. He has a personality disorder where he basically has split personalities. We see two at the beginning of the season, and it sets up the whole storyline with him and this ancient Egyptian artifact, having to deal with Ethan Hawke's character, Arthur Harrow, being this, evil kind of cult leader. And he's going after this artifact as well. And the two of them, it's basically head to head the whole time, trying to outsmart each other and trying to one up each other. And it takes them all the way to ancient Egypt, of course, where we get a lot of cool, Egyptian iconography, the pyramids, of course. Some cool scenes there. And, even in the last couple episodes, kind of reminded me of The Mummy and, a few scenes there. And at first, when a character was introduced, I thought it might have been the guy from The Mummy, the villain from the first one, but it wasn't. It was just another bald dude that looked like him.
That's what I thought it was too. I thought The Mummy looked exactly like him, but it's cool how they dive into Egyptian mythology, deities, and then the afterlife as well. And then introduces some bad guys, like you were saying, Arthur Harrow, my man, Ethan Hawke. Really tearing it up lately. He's doing a lot of indies and horror flicks and things like that. But cool seeing him as a villain in the Marvel universe in this TV show. I thought he did a really, really great job. And as we said in our other review, he's having a really good time with this role. He's having fun with it, and probably one of the best parts of the show.
I agree. Yeah, I loved seeing him in this role. Something that we're not used to seeing Ethan Hawke playing a villain, and now he's going to be playing the villain in the Black Phone too, coming up. So yeah, you can tell he's having fun doing this role, stepping outside of the box. He's been a serious actor for a long time. This one, he just looks like he's having a good time playing this, larger than life character in the Marvel universe, not taking it too seriously, but serious enough where he gives a good performance and one of the most solid parts of the show for me. But Oscar Isaac's the main star here, and we do get a lot of great scenes with him, kind of going back and forth between these characters, which is, it's going to take a veteran actor and somebody that's got some real chops, which Oscar Isaac does. Even if you don't like him, you can appreciate, the guy can act it sometimes, although at times in this it's just over the top and cheesy. And as we mentioned in the original review, his accent that he does, both me and you just kind of laughed at it. It didn't sound authentic at all, but he's kind of doing his own thing here, so whatever, it's fine. It doesn't break it, but it's just kind of out there. But I did like when we saw the Moon Knight up on the screen and the full costume behind you. It looked awesome. Some great scenes, some great action scenes featuring him kicking some guy's ass there, especially in the first couple episodes. I thought that was the best kind of introduction to him, was like the best that we saw of him. Just the character is interesting, a character that I'd never heard about before, didn't have any background information on. So it was cool, learning a little bit about this new character I had, no idea about. And, seeing Marvel try something different and out of the box. Unfortunately for me, this one was, probably, if not the lowest of the Marvel shows, probably the second, either the lowest or the second lowest quality for me and enjoyment. I just didn't ever get into it. Never seemed, really serious, or the stakes weren't high. I don't know. I just wasn't attached to it like I've been, even with Hawkeye, that one was kind of, more like a holiday kind of team up there, feel good kind of thing. It was just better done, more chemistry between the actors and everything. And, we're, of course, already know a lot of the characters that we saw the shows from before. So that's another thing this show had going against it. We didn't have any we hadn't seen this character before. So that's something that, led to me not liking it as much.
Yeah, and I give kudos to Marvel for trying to do a standalone with a character that a lot of people aren't familiar with, like ourselves, as people call it, a Batman ripoff in some ways, but more of the Egyptian side of it, seeing these two personalities, a Mark Specter, Stephen Grant being the bumbling, museum worker with a really crappy accent, and then you have the Mark Specter side that's more of a badass. But it was cool, Oscar Isaac did a really good job with this, and I don't care for him, but I thought he did good in this role, playing these two different, personalities, especially together. It reminded me of that Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where he is a twin.
Double impact, yeah.
Double impact, exactly. And then there's like this cool thing with the hippo that shows up and a lot of cool characters that I wasn't familiar with. But I thought it was an interesting take. It was just a little muddled, and it got confusing at times, having to do towards the middle of the script and everything. So that was one of the downfalls of the show. It was hard to follow, especially for people that aren't familiar with the source material. You're trying to understand what's going on with everything. A little confusing.
I completely agree with your assessment, Logan. And the parts in the mental institution, spoiler alert, although this is the whole season review, so if you haven't seen it, sorry, but there is a scene where they're in an institution. It reminded me a lot of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It had that vibe, and like you mentioned, there's that scene with the hippo. There's a lot of trippy kind of imagery in the show. And those scenes that they did, I thought were really cool and interesting, something that we hadn't seen before in Marvel. So there's some cool stuff that they did visually with the show, which was, a little better than I don't know, the writing. It was hard to follow. It went too fast for its own good, really, for characters that I didn't really know. I didn't have a chance to really get to know them first before we're just launched in the story. And, I guess they expect, to have a little background knowledge on this character, which I didn't.
Yeah, I had no knowledge of this whatsoever, and then it just made it even more confusing. But I do appreciate how they kind of fast forward to the ultimate demise of one of these characters, which is kind of cool. Usually they start at the very beginning, but it's more of like how this ends. And I think Oscar Isaac only signed up for one season of this. I don't think they had plans to do any more. This is just like a one and done kind of situation. But who knows? Maybe if it, had enough views, they'll do another season. But I don't think they can really do too much more with this. The first few episodes, the last few episodes were good. I guess the episodes in the middle just kind of lost me. I think that had to do with a lot of the writing. I was checking my phone, so I wasn't really invested to really care what was going on. Paid off towards the end. I thought the ending was cool. Dealing in Egypt and all the visual effects look really fantastic. Seeing the Moon Knight character, I wish that was in the show more. I guess there's only not as many scenes as I expected, but when he got into full costume, it looked really cool.
I like the camera work, as familiar as I needed to be on the Moon Knight concept, but it's cool. They tried something different. I'll give them kudos for that. Just didn't click with me, but I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed it. And we'll have to see if this character's going to be somebody that we come back, or if we're just going to get this one and done kind of thing, which, is fine. We don't need every single character from the comic books to get their own movie and to be the new Avenger and all that. There's enough characters to go around.
I'm kind of disappointed by this. I've been a fan of pretty much all the Marvel shows hitting Disney Plus. WandaVision still being my favorite. This is definitely on the bottom of the list for me. It just wasn't really invested as much, and it didn't blow me away as I really expected it to. The guys in the podcast have been talking about this, bringing it up quite a bit, how cool the character is. Maybe I'll have to go back and dive into the comics just to get a better understanding of it. Bit confusing, but there's some good aspects about it. But overall, I wasn't really impressed. So that being said, I'm going to give the first season of Moon Knight, streaming on Disney Plus, a 3 out of 5 Oscar Isaac hair pieces.
I'm going to agree with that score. I am also going to give Moon Knight a 3 out of 5 Arthur Harrow, Ethan Hawke hair pieces.
So we're interested in hearing your guys' thoughts on the first season of Moon Knight. What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite comic? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to click subscribe. Also, check out these wild Egyptian enthusiasts on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV movie news and reviews. And of course, check us out right here on our YouTube channel.
So we want to thank you guys for following us and for watching our review of Moon Knight, the one and done season of Moon Knight on Disney Plus, the new Marvel series. starring Oscar Isaac. We had a fun time talking about it, and enjoyed it well enough over the 6 episodes. Just hope for something more. But with that being said, me and this wild guy are going to go bark at the moon until the next Cinephellas TV review. Cheers.